now I've restarted.
Okay, good.
So.
All right, so we're going to start. All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, we're going. So, welcome back to the second episode of what we are, I believe, calling the Deserted Gamer Podcast. We're here today, and I briefly mentioned, we talked a little bit about our main topic for the day. It kind of came out of the last episode. That era when Nintendo was kind of bad in our childhoods.
Yeah.
Which was like, you know, for me, it's the day New Super Mario Bros. Wii came out until the day the Switch came out. It's kind of where I mark that. That's very unofficial and unresearched, but yeah.
The exact day. Just New Super Mario Bros. Wii came out and you were like, oh.
Seriously.
What happened?
No, well, and yeah, I remember it. So I actually got my copy of New Super Mario Bros. Wii at the Toys R Us in Times Square, New York City, when that was the thing, the one with the Ferris wheel and stuff, the huge Toys R Us. Because it was new at the time.
I don't know why I said, oh yeah, like I've been there before. I've not.
Oh, you never got to go to that?
No.
That place was a joy, man. That was a childhood spot for me, for sure. But
I went to Times Square one time on a field trip when I was a wee lad back in middle school.
Oh, my dad loved.
And I just.
My dad loved going to New York and would take us there all the time. Easy Amtrak ride, you know, whatever. Easy to get in. Sometimes, too, we wouldn't even do Amtrak. We would take New Jersey Transit and go all the way into New York just from there. We would, like, drive to an NJ Transit station and just go up from there. It was pretty easy to get there, and it was, you know, it was a magical place when I was a kid. I mean, it's just so crazy and chaotic, but, you know, gave me my sea legs for walking around cities for sure. Like, that's like...
I mean,
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I've only been in New York City twice. That one field trip was the second time. The first time was like a bunch of the like dads in my neighborhood brought a bunch of like the kids up for to see a game at like old Yankee Stadium.
Yes, I did that too. The year before they tore it down. But that's the Bronx.
I got a nosebleed in the nosebleed seats, which was like self-fulfilling prophecy.
So you did. God. So you did go to old Yankee Stadium?
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
I think they were playing Tampa.
Yeah. Well, that's that division. So yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, starting off our gamer podcast with a little sports chat, but you know.
Yeah.
So, well, because I mentioned New York, so yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the Bronx. That's like way different than, you know, Times Square. But yeah, Times Square, New York, they had the Toys R Us, and it was huge. I just remember, you know, just being amazed by it, because it was so much bigger than our local Toys R Us, and anybody who knows what I'm talking about, like, yeah, I'm sure. And I have a picture of my dad and I riding on the Ferris wheel in there and stuff, and it's just great. So, anyway, New Super Mario Bros. Wii was just, like, new at the time, and we were there, and, you know, I was like, hey, well, this is out. Can I get it? And my dad just bought it for me, and I had New Super Mario Bros. For DS, and I really liked it. And I thought that was a great game at the time. And I still think that the first, like, New Super Mario Bros. On DS, like, I think that game works out really well. And I think it's just, like, a cool, like, little, you know, fun little platformer, just kind of side Mario game. Like, hey, remember the old stuff? That's cool, right? But we still make new stuff. But then, like, there's this era where, like, New Super Mario Bros. Was, like, the main thing, like, between, like, Galaxy, and obviously Galaxy 2 was a thing that was really good, but then you have just, like, the same 2D Mario game, like, 4 times in a row, and it's just like, oh my god. And the one on the Wii, the co-op just drives me insane because of the friendly fire. And it's like, people get so mad because there's friendly fire in games like Battletoads, but then they excuse friendly fire in things like New Super Mario Bros. Wii. And it's like, come on, guys.
Yeah. It's... Because I think was New Super Mario Bros. U, and I guess New Luigi U, or whatever it's called, was that released before 3D Land and 3D World? Like, those the games that kind of stopped?
I think 3D Land was older, but 3D World was after. I think New Super Mario Bros. U was in the middle of the 3D Land and World.
Okay.
Because, yeah, maybe. That might not be right, but it's all that same era. And I mean, 3D Land and 3D World are okay.
Yeah, 3D World is... I mean, I haven't played 3D Land, so I can't speak on that.
I
but
played
like
that.
quote unquote 3D Mario games, I think 3D World is the worst one that I've played.
Well, it's so basic.
Granted, I still haven't played. I mean, granted, I still haven't played Galaxy 2, so I can't speak on that.
I played all of them, bro.
I've heard Galaxy 2 is very good. So
yeah,
I'm just going based off that.
It is.
Yeah.
Galaxy 2 is really solid. I didn't play it as much as Galaxy 1 because I didn't have Galaxy 2 until I was like kind of deep into high school. I didn't get it when it came out. Like I did Galaxy 1. So
I got Galaxy 2 a year ago, so
yeah. But Galaxy 1 was like, you know, the Wii was so fresh and that game was just like so impactful, whereas Galaxy 2, I didn't buy it when it was new because by the time that game was new, I had kind of moved on to the Xbox 360, and I feel like a lot of people did who like started out with Wii's were like, all right, time to get like a real console in this generation. And so I didn't get Galaxy 2 when it was new, but then it took me a little while to get it.
Yeah, well, I mean, Galaxy 1, like, the atmosphere in Galaxy 1 is incredible.
Yeah. Oh, it's phenomenal.
And it's, like, it's unmatched. I think that one and Sunshine have, like, the best sort of settings in any of the Mario games.
Well, as we know,
just, like,
Mario Sunshine's
overall atmosphere, yeah.
favorite game of all time. So, really, really great. Yeah, but, you know, so that gets into it, like, why, like, New Super Mario Bros. Wii and, like, 3D Land and 3D World. Again, dude, same deal. 3D Land, cute little game to have on the 3DS. And I got it back when it was just that, and 3D World didn't exist, you know? And I was like, oh, Mario 3D Land. This is, like, kind of nice. They kind of took, like, Mario Galaxy and, like, boiled it down, like, made it more simplistic. But it's, like, it's on a handheld, so it's cool, you know? Like, 3D Land and the first New Super Mario Bros. On DS really are just, like, nice little, like, compliments to the handheld systems, but then when you took them and put them on console, it just felt like really lazy, and it just go ahead.
Yeah, it's also like the repetition too, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Everybody nowadays makes fun of like the Ubisoft like Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, like tower open world stuff, right?
Yeah.
But back when that was starting out, it was like a fresh new thing. Like even like the first. God, what, like 5 Assassin's Creed games were like still like a big deal, even if Assassin's Creed 3 sucks. But
you don't like 3?
Opinion, but like,
what are you, racist?
3 is what?
Because you play as a Native American.
Racist. I don't like 3 because that game is fundamentally broken.
Is it?
They switched up like I replayed it recently. I went through like a whole like replaying of the Assassin's Creed series because like when I was younger that was like one of my favorite series.
Oh, my AC just
stopped
came
playing
on.
it after a while.
Christ, I just see my Audacity
That's
file. I can see this noise.
I can't hear it, so
yeah, I always do noise reduction because look, man, I live in Arizona. Like I need my AC on.
Yeah, no, you just keep the AC on so you don't die heat stroke halfway through this conversation.
Literally.
But yeah, like Assassin's Creed 3, they switched up the climbing, so like it used to be that you had to press like you had to hold down the trigger button and in order to like run, and then you had to press A in order to jump.
Yeah.
While you're doing that.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to go up, you had to press A, but if you wanted to go kind of straight, you would not press A. In Assassin's Creed 3, for some reason, they just had it. You press one button and then you basically that's your free run button, but if you want to go up or down, it's just dependent on whatever the character wants to do at the time.
Okay.
And then the combat, they took out the health system, so now it's got to be a combo finisher that kills people. But Assassin's Creed, from Assassin's Creed 1 till I'm currently playing through Valhalla, and till now, the lock-on system is the worst lock-on system in the business. I don't know how... Ocarina of Time had a better lock-on system in 1998 or whatever that game came out.
I think that game even...
And
98, 97.
Assassin's Creed. Yeah, Assassin's Creed has had the same lock-on system where it's not even a lock-on, it's a suggestion.
Right. Yeah,
But it's that and the stealth, they messed up the thing, because like typically in a stealth game, you know how like characters will or enemies have like a middle state between not knowing you're there or hey, high alert everybody.
Yeah.
They have that kind of like suspicious state.
Yeah, sure.
They kind of got rid of that. Or like it's there, but if you're in the suspicion state, you can't hide.
So, all right,
which defeats the purpose.
A lot of this,
Anyway,
it's all good. A lot of this actually makes sense, and we can talk about this because my girlfriend actually was trying out Assassin's Creed, and she wanted to start with the third one because it was not it.
Well, wait, the third one or 3?
Assassin's Creed 3. Sorry, I know the third one is Brotherhood. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I was about to say, Brotherhood is very good.
Yeah, no, I currently, for Xbox 360, have the numbered games 1, 2, and 3. The only ones I have any bit of experience with are 1 and 2, and 2 is really a nice game to play. Ezio's the man, you know.
Yeah, 2's very good.
Yada, yada, right? Like, 2 was, like, the game that people, like, freaked out about when I was, like, in... You know, I guess that was like middle school, early high school. Like people were like at the height of like the Xbox 360's popularity, kind of deal. People were like, oh, one of the essential like AAA games was Assassin's Creed 2. But what I wanted to mention too, really quick, was you'd brought up like kind of like series fatigue, right? With like the new Super Mario Bros. And with the Assassin's Creeds and the Far Cries and all this fucking. Oops, I'll edit that out. All this.
It wasn't me this time.
This is me forgetting that I'm doing a podcast for a YouTube channel where I don't curse. I think I said the ass word in my Mega Man 8 video, and I was like, I'll throw that in. But anyway, we're like 12 minutes deep. It's fine. It's mostly in the first minute.
No, it's a cold open.
Yeah. So, I gotta give you this though. As somebody who makes videos about the Mega Man series and who says that the Mega Man series is my favorite of all time, I cannot complain. I have no grounds to complain about series fatigue because there's 11 billion.
You mentioned it in your
in Mega Man 8.
The Mega Man 8.
Well, I was just like, I'm getting tired of playing these games. I'm gonna go play something else because I just played so many back to back. But the funny thing is,
that was the personification of series fatigue.
I mean, yeah. But that is like manufactured series fatigue because obviously it's like the past 3 months I've been like playing a lot of Mega Man 5, then a lot of Mega Man 2, then X3, and then Mega Man 8, and it's
Capcom didn't make these games expecting somebody to make a review
one review
of
like
every game
every week, of one of these games. So that was like manufactured fatigue. And I'll tell you my next review, which I won't spoil the game, but it's totally just like I was thinking about taking on another, and this will still happen at some point, hopefully, but I was thinking about taking on another Capcom platformer that I had never played, and I was like, I really want to play this game and explore this game on the channel, but then I like woke up yesterday and I was like, I really don't want to do that. I just really want to play blank game, and blank game is now the next review, and it's just like a comfort food game for me, and you might be able to figure out what I mean. But I'll tell you when we're done recording what it's going to be. I think I told you maybe over text what it was going to be, but it's I'm like, man, I can't like put myself through another platformer that I've never played before. Like, I need to like chill out for this next review.
Bubsy 3D fans are in shambles. I don't even know if Bubsy 3D is a Capcom platform.
It's certainly not. Capcom would never publish that. It's like Accolade or some crap.
Speaking of like platforms, start for the aside here. I kind of want to do I'll probably make a video on it at some point, but I wanted to go like talk about the sort of like that era of like make a video talking about the era of like I guess like PS1, PS2 era of like licensed games, like when they were actually good.
I've got. Let's co-op that video, like seriously, because I've got so much to talk about with that. Because, bro, I've got next to me on the GameCube. All right, first of all, games I played as a kid. So look, if you don't like them now, like whatever. But I played a ton of this one Jimmy Neutron game. It's like Jet Fusion.
Attack of the Twonkies?
No, I think it's Jet Fusion. I think it's the one that people say is like bad, but I loved it when I was a kid. It's got like an orange cover, and then I've got Robots. You know, Robots, the movie that
yes, yes, that's one of the ones that I was going to talk about.
Actually, good game. I've got Chicken Little. Not bad either. Maybe not as good as Robots. Okay, obviously it's not a platformer, but Cars, like Cars 1, Really solid licensed game. Played that all the time as a kid. And I also have for PS4, I have Cars 3, and it's just like way watered down and way simplified. Like Cars 3.
Yeah.
Cars 3 on PS4, it's just racing, and it's like half decent racing mechanics. Like, yeah, sure, whatever. I've got 30 minutes to blow, and I'll break out old Lightning McQueen. Why not? But Cars 1 on like GameCube is like a little like adventure game, and I'm just like, God, this game is so charming now. But and then also, of course,
also, like,
Simpsons Hit and Run, which is not
Yes.
a platformer, but a brilliant licensed game and one of the most important games in my childhood. Like, dude. Oh, I love that game.
There's also like Fairly Odd Parents Breaking the Rules.
Oh, and SpongeBob.
Like I said,
yeah.
SpongeBob Bad for Bikini Bottom. The Jimmy Neutron Attack at the Twonkies, like I said. And there's also not a platform, but like the Harry Potter Chamber of Secrets and Prisoner of Azkaban.
And dude, and on the PS1, the Sorcerer's Stone, PS1 version of Sorcerer's Stone is so good.
The PS1.
Classic. One that me and the homies play back home all the time.
Yeah.
My one friend, he's the one who would always play it, and we would just watch. But he got so good at it. He like beat it in like 4 hours. It was so much fun watching him play that. And there's some really good voice acting in that.
Dude, that era is so good. Even in the Chamber of Secrets one, like the GameCube.
Yeah.
That one has some great voice acting moment. What I love is like the pauses where you can tell like like they had to put in a voice clip here, but they like surrounded it with like we're gonna give it a little bit of space of like dead silence.
It's so good.
The one thing I think I mentioned to you before, I don't know if you remember I think one of the sources of my like childhood anxiety that has persisted throughout my life is the sound that game makes when you get caught in a stealth section.
Oh my god, dude!
The like trombone.
Yes. No, I literally thought of the trombone like riff when you said that because it's in my head too, man. That thing is just baked in. Like that is like, oh my god, no cap.
It's like you hear like. Because it's not even like a gradual thing, again, like I was talking about like the suspicion meter.
Yes.
Like in every other stealth game, you always have some character going like what was that? Must have been the wind or something.
Yeah.
And then in that game, you hear some character go like, what was that? And you hear like from off camera, like it sounds like it's coming from like right behind you. You just hear like Petrificus Totalis, and then the trombone slide, and you're like, oh my god.
No cap, seriously. Great games though, great games for sure. That
20 points from Gryffindor.
The licensed era of the licensed era of PS1, PS2 games and GameCube and stuff. It's really great. But I'll tell you this too. My girlfriend, she got this PS4 licensed game for this show called Miraculous, which I'm too old for. And you're probably too old.
I've never even heard of it.
Yeah, you're probably too old for it too. She's a little younger than me, so it's, so she grew up with it more. And I think it was a Disney Channel show, and I was like strictly Nickelodeon and like strictly SpongeBob, right? Like SpongeBob is like the only show I watched when I was a kid. Like, I'm not kidding. And but she grew up with this show called Miraculous, and there's a PS4 game for it. And it kind of has that, like, PS2 magic to it. And it's, like, graphically, it's very underwhelming for a PS4 game. And I pointed it out, but I'm like, listen, though, it's not a bad thing. Because this kind of takes me back, Yeah. So,
because we had to live through, like, circling back to the topic of the episode, we had to live through the shovelware era, and, like, the Wii, like, afterwards.
Yeah, well...
And it's like you went from like all those licensed games that were surprisingly really good to then go back to like circle back to like that freaking what caused the video game crash.
Yeah.
With like things like you get like the Wii and it's like do makeup for I don't know.
Shake the Wii remote.
SpongeBob.
Just keep shaking the Wii remote, just crap. And there was it's totally an era where there was like it's a very pronounced line, I would say, where you have the generation before the Wii. A lot of the licensed games seem to have a lot of love and care in them, and then when you get into the Wii, you get a lot of the shovelware. I mean, dude, like the freaking M&M's game on the Wii or whatever, like that I've seen the Game Grumps play, where like they're playing skee ball and it hits like the side of it, and it still counts it as a point. It's just like, oh my god, how did games go so far in the dumpster in this era? But no, so with Nintendo, we got it. Let's circle right back to Nintendo just because we're talking about that. Yeah. So, yeah, New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Like I said, I got it in New York City. It came in that red case. I was all excited to get it. Brought it home, and I just lost interest in it like really fast. And I didn't play it too much. And I was like, wow, this is disappointing. Time to play more Mario Galaxy. And then like, okay, let's talk about the Wii U. So. Mm-hmm. For context for everybody, I'm gonna let you wild in a second. Right now, you're like a horse in the thing before they go racing. All right, I'm gonna open the gate eventually, but I just want to set some context for you, for the viewers. I got a Wii U right when it came out. Okay, sure. This guy over here just got a Wii U, apparently, and just texted
like
me
2 months ago.
And just texted me that he just got a Wii U right before I was like, hey, man, you want to talk about living through the travesty that was the Wii U? And he's like, well, I don't have too much to say about that because I just bought one. And I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, now we have a discussion for the podcast. So, all right. Christmas.
Yeah, I didn't.
Hang on. The stable's not open. Is it Christmas?
Sorry.
I'm going to let you loose in a second. Christmas 2012. All right? I'm in high school. It's like early high school. And I didn't even like... Okay, when the Wii came out, I was like, oh my god, I want this for Christmas so bad. You know, like Cartman on South Park when he freezes himself to get the Wii. Like, you know, type of thing like that, right? When it was time for the Wii U to come out, I was like, well, I have an Xbox 360. I think I'm all right, right? You know, but... And I had seen, like, you know, this was when Game Grumps was, like, just starting, and, like, JonTron was on, and, like, him and Aaron, like, played Nintendo Land, like, early on, and I was like, yeah, that looks, like, kind of cool, right? You know, it was like, all right, cool, like, mini game collection, I guess. And then, like, the other launch title was, like, New Super Mario Bros. Wii, and I'm like, okay, I'm not that excited about this. However, for Christmas, you know, I guess I had expressed enough interest in it. I wasn't, like, begging my dad for it or anything, but, you know... My dad knows, that boy, you know, my dad basically is Hank Hill. If you really want to envision, like, what I look like and what my dad looks like for the viewers, I'm Bobby Hill. My dad is Hank Hill. All right? There you go. That's all you need to know. And so...
propane and propane accessories.
Right. And he's so like that where he's just, you know, very, like... In his little world of propane and propane accessories. But and he just knows that boy likes that Nintendo and probably knew that there was a new Nintendo coming out that year. And so he got it for me for Christmas. And I was excited still. You know, Christmas morning, I was still excited to see it. Still excited to get it. But it wasn't like, you know, the video of the Nintendo 64 kid, right? Where, you know what I'm talking about? Where the kid gets the N64 for Christmas and he's like... screaming and like going crazy and like pumping his fists in the air. Totally not like that on Christmas morning getting the Wii U. But for me it's still a new console. I actually was thinking about it. That was actually like the last console that like my parent bought me, you know? Like obviously like for my like birthday or whatever when I was a little kid, you know, I got the N64 and the GameCube and then Wii for the Christmas and then like the Wii U. And then after that, I just always bought consoles with my own money because the Wii U came out when I was in high school. And I'm like, so this was like the last like big Christmas present that I got, like where it still felt like childhood wonder as a kid. And it's just kind of like a wet fart of a console, you know? It's like, dang, what a whimper compared to the other previous ones, you know? So... and I just felt like I had always waited and waited and waited for something to come out for the Wii U, and I was such like a Wii U like defender. I was like, oh guys, it's gonna be good, it's gonna be good. I totally didn't just also go buy a PS4, but I swear the Wii U's gonna pick up. it's good.
It's coming back.
It's coming, guys. It's coming. So I sat on it for 2 years, and then the PS4 came out, or a year. I bought the PS4 right away. That was the first console I bought with my own money. You know, I was so excited for the PS4. And so I bought that with my own money. And was like so excited. But that console also got a really slow start. You know, I played a ton of Rezo Gun and Knack. You know, it's like
Yeah, well, it had Infamous Second Son.
and that was the first game that I like fell in love with the PS4. I platinumed that game,
Yeah.
dog. That's like the only platinum I have is Infamous Second Son. So there you go. All right, go ahead. Let's hear about your Wii U experience. I just shared what everybody else is feeling. Yeah, hi guys. If you had a Wii U when you were growing up, you know how it felt. You got it when it came out. You thought it was maybe going to be cool if you were like a big Nintendo fan like I was. If you weren't a big Nintendo fan, you didn't even know the freaking thing existed. And then, you know, I just sat on it for years and years and watched so many Nintendo Directs and just was like, oh, is this when it's finally going to pick up? And then it just never did. I totally lost hope in it. And then the Switch came out, and I was like, well, that was a thing that I lived through. So I lived through it. You kind of just, what were you doing for 5 years, man? You're a big Nintendo fan. You didn't have a Wii U.
Well, so I wasn't a huge Nintendo fan until I was in, like, high school.
Right.
So, because I was... My, like, video game journey was I started out playing my dad's Sega Genesis.
Right.
And that was, like, around, you know, like, that would have been around the N64, PlayStation 1 kind of era.
Yeah.
We skipped over that whole generation. We later on, like, and then also, of course, like, handhelds, like Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance. And then, like, the first console that we got afterwards would have been the GameCube.
Right.
So I played through some of that, and at this point, just to put into context, as a kid, I was dumb. I was dumb as a pile of rocks.
We all were. But people on the internet don't accept that. They're like, how do you not beat this game when I was a kid? Why didn't you? Are you stupid? Yeah. Like, you know, so, all right, fine. Context.
Like, but here's how dumb I was. Because I was so used to the Genesis,
right?
I wasn't used to game saves.
Oh, yeah,
so,
of
like,
course.
in the same sense. So, when I got the GameCube, I still remember I never got past a certain point. I want to say what's like the level in Super Mario Sunshine where it's like all the metal. It's like the kind of like the harbor.
Rico Harbor, baby.
Like the bigger
Rico
boats.
Harbor.
Yeah.
Gooper
Rico Harbor. I never got past that point because that's the farthest I could get in a single play session.
Right.
Because every time I would start a new game thinking, oh, I'm starting a new game session.
Yeah, like I gotta beat this thing in one shot.
Yeah, that's how dumb I was.
Like
there's so many moments of like, I still remember, I think the way my brain's changed thinking, and I still remember this was when I played Batman Arkham Asylum for the first time, got stuck in a level for like months, and then I started to think a little bit more like observe the environment, and that's when like the switch flipped in my brain, and from that point on, I started to play smarter.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we had a GameCube, we got a PlayStation 2, which is probably, that and the GameCube were like the childhood consoles for me.
Yeah.
But that one broke, unfortunately.
See, I had an N64 as well. It's funny because like, you talk about your dad had a Genesis. My dad had an NES, and like my dad didn't play a lot of like the 16-bit, but that's because my sister was born during like the SNES time. So my dad missed out on that, but my uncle didn't. But then like by the N64, like the N64 was kind of on its way out when I started playing games, but they were like cheaper, you know. So we had the N64 and the GameCube. But the 64 games, I knew that like the graphics were worse, but I still really liked them. Like I loved like Diddy Kong Racing and everything. And the first console I ever played was the 64. I just didn't own it for a little bit, you know. But it's just fascinating to hear like where our parents were at in their lives. That like your dad was more of a Genesis guy, and my dad had like Tecmo Super Bowl and the NES and the first Zelda and stuff. But you know, me and you are the exact same age, so it's just cool to hear.
Yeah. But then, like, I got the PS2 broke, which is unfortunate because they had a lot of games I loved on that, like the Sly Trilogy, which is my favorite platformers.
Yeah.
The Kingdom Hearts, the fucking license games you were talking about. Sorry, cursed.
Whatever. I might leave that in, bro. We're like a half hour deep.
We each get one.
Yeah, no, it's like a PG-13 movie. Like you just get one S word in there, or F word, whatever.
And then eventually got like a PS3, and at that point, we got the Wii for like the family, but that was like mostly family. It was like Wii Sports Resort.
Totally.
And then Then I hit my dark period, my dark forgotten past of being a Call of Duty kid.
No, dude, me too.
After I got a PS3.
I did the same exact thing. That is so funny. I forgot we had that same history where we both had the Wii. We were like innocent children who played frickin' Chicken Little on the Wii or GameCube or whatever, and Wii Sports, and then 2010 hits. You get Black Ops 1 and Modern Warfare 2, and you just start blasting that Linkin Park music, baby, and say, nobody understands me anymore.
Linkin Park and Eminem.
Yep. Oh my god, dude. We are the same freaking person. I swear to God, that is so funny. Yeah. I love COD, and I know you do too, because of that.
Yeah, it still has a special place in my heart, even if the newer games kind of doofy.
Totally.
But
I hate calling it classic COD because that makes me sound old, but Modern Warfare 2, the original Modern Warfare 2, not Modern Warfare 2 from 2019 or whatever.
Even the original, because I got into it when I first started play COD when my brother got an Xbox 360, and then he had the first Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
And I played that. I was like, this game is mind blowing.
Yes. That's how it was for me too.
Then I was like, get rid of all this kids stuff. Pokemon, no more.
It's the same, man.
Yeah. And then I got a PS3 and I got Batman Arkham Asylum, and then because all my friends had that. The whole reason I got a PS3, and I'm kind of glad I did, because I probably would have wound up being a different sort of gamer if I didn't have a PS3 when I did.
I agree.
With JRPGs and stuff. But because all my friends had PS3s and they all had Call of Duty on PS3, and I was like, well, they have PS3.
Yeah.
I want to play with them online, and it's free.
See, my friend group wasn't.
Remember when PlayStation Online was free?
Yes, and it got hacked.
PlayStation Network, and then it got hacked for a whole year.
My friend group was all Xbox 360 kids except for one, and so I was like, I want to be different. I'm gonna get a PS3, and I did. And then in 2 months, I sold it, and I got an Xbox 360, and I was like, now I can play COD with my friends and not alone.
Yeah, dude, there's a quick aside, but there's late night zombie runs.
Oh my god, dude! Summer break,
around '99 or something.
Summer break. Okay, do you remember when the last DLC came out for Black Ops 1 was an all zombies pack, and it included
Resurrection.
Yeah, the moon.
It was
and all the World at War maps,
and then all the World at War maps.
You know what I did? So the Xbox 360 store here. This is topical. The Xbox 360 store, just closed a month ago, right? The digital store.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, before it closed, I made sure that my hard drive has Resurrection on it, so that my Black Ops 1 I can play on Deriza and Shino Numa and Felhucht and all those maps from World at War and Moon. Nice. I made sure I bought that frickin' Zombies DLC for $15 this year. And I was like, man, do I feel like I'm getting ripped off, but I need this.
Those Black Ops DLC packs were unmatched.
Yeah.
Even just the normal multiplayer maps, not just this, because all the zombies maps are good, except for Stadium, but except for Shangri-La wasn't very good, or whatever that one's called.
I know what you mean.
That one wasn't very good.
But
that was just way too narrow.
Is the temple?
Yeah, that was way too narrow.
Yeah, that one sucks.
But the golf course multiplayer map.
Hazard, because that was a remake. Yeah. It was a remake of a World at War map too, where it was a very open World at War map, and then they took it. And I think it was an airfield or something in that game, but it made no sense to bring it to the Black Ops universe, and so they took it and they remade it into a golf course. But that was a World at War map that they repurposed. But it was so good. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, it was. There were so many great multiplayer maps. I loved. This is such a weird thing to say that you like, but I love, because I hated the idea of prestiging and losing all of the guns.
I loved
that you,
it. I loved starting over because it was just so pointless, and I was like, this is great. This is endless grind. I love it.
My problem is the guns that I like to use were all the late ones, that you got later.
The G11,
the Commando and the
G11.
The L19 or whatever, the sniper rifle.
Oh yeah.
And I still remember I prestiged once, and I was like, all right, that's it. And then I just got to the max level again. And every time I would join a match, it'd be with all people with the the max prestige symbol to just be me with the first level.
I'll tell you this.
It's just like, why don't you prestige?
I'll tell you this, B-Dog. I did it. I got to 15th prestige, level 50 on Black Ops 1, and then get this, I got prestige max on Black Ops 2 as well. I was a nut. I was an absolute nut.
No, my friend was like that, so he was like, yeah, I'm at prestige, like, I'm at prestige 7 already, and I'm like, dude, it came out yesterday.
No, and straight up.
How?
Okay, when those games would come out, right, they would always come out in November, and my middle and high school, or whatever, my school district, they would give us the whole week off for Thanksgiving. They would not do a fall break. Instead, they would push the whole thing to Thanksgiving week. So you didn't just have like Thursday, Friday, and like a half day Wednesday maybe. You had the whole week off for Thanksgiving. So the game would come out, and 2 weeks later I had a week off. You better believe it. I was at least 5th prestige by December. Like,
yeah.
So... anyways, that actually gets into the discussion of COD and, like, especially Black Ops 2 really leads us back into the Wii U. Black Ops 2 was on the Wii U, and so was COD Ghosts, right? But Black Ops 2 was on the Wii U, and yeah, that's when I stopped. When I saw that stupid dog thing, I was like, I'm out of here. But anyway, realistic dog model, and it's like, but anyway,
the best character in that game was that dog.
Riley. But anyway. Black Ops 2 was on the Wii U, and the multiplayer for that game was largely unhacked and very, very playable. I remember in 2017, 2018, like, there being like a couple hundred people on and even being able to find domination matches still. But by the time like 2020 rolled around, there was only about 50 to 100 people, and you were just queuing with the same people all the time in Team Deathmatch. But it was largely unhacked, and the kind of cool thing was that the Wii U Black Ops 2 like never received any updates, so it felt like you were still playing the game on day one. And there was a lot of stupid crap, like your own swarm could still kill you. Like, they never patched that out of the Wii U version, but there was also a lot of like magical things where there's a lot of horrifically unbalanced guns still, and like, you know, just other stuff that reminded you of like late 2012, early 2013 that they never patched out of that version because it didn't have support. But for some reason, the hackers and the cheaters just kind of stayed away from it for all those years. And I got like some glory days out of Black Ops 2 on the Wii U. So if there was anything that the Wii U served a purpose for, it was way, way, way after it came out, and it was me playing Black Ops 2 on it.
To be fair, though, it was kind of fun, like, going back to World at War, like, years later, and then you, like, start a match, and you just, like, try to step forward, and your guy goes, like, 20 feet across the map, and you're like, oh, it's one of these games?
Yeah,
okay.
Right. The only thing that gets me about the hacked matches that I hate, because I a lot of times with games like that, like the AAA games that aren't very, like, you know, deep in their gameplay, where it's just kind of running around and shooting things, I find a lot of enjoyment out of, like, doing some achievement hunting, you know, and, like, collecting the intel and all that.
Yeah.
So when you get in a hacked match, you kill one guy, and every achievement pops up, I'm like, crap, I have no use for this game anymore, you know?
Yeah, I mean, the worst thing for me was on the PS3 version of Black Ops. Yeah. If you did the Zork thing.
Zork, yeah. Oh, it glitched it!
On the menu.
It glitched it.
It glitched the trophies. Yeah. So you couldn't get any of the campaign trophies.
I remember hearing about that. And dude, I don't know what happened, but when I played through Black Ops 2 on the PS3, I know it might sound like I'm going kind of all over the place. My own history with the series is like beyond strange, where I've had just every like couple of years I'll like sell a series off, then I'll get nostalgic for it, I'll buy them all again, and it's usually always for a different console. Like, so I have like trophies and achievements for every single COD, like on Xbox and PlayStation and PC, because I'm just like, I go through these like phases with it. So it's just this like 10-year phase of nostalgia waves that happen to me. But anyway, I played through Black Ops 2 on the PC, and I beat it on Hardened for the first time. So, like, my first run was on Hardened, because I'm like, alright, dude, I'm not doing frickin' regular. I'm, like, seasoned at this game now. Even though it was my first time ever actually playing the Black Ops 2 campaign, because I never played it when it came out, because I just stuck to multiplayer. But anyway, so I did the campaign on Hardened.
Well,
yeah?
Sorry, I was just going to say. I was gonna say, unpopular opinion, but
Oh.
multiplayer is the best aspect of that game because I did not like.
I know you don't like the campaign for that game, which I think is weird, but I'll tell you this, dog. The popular opinion is that the zombies on that game is terrible, and I agree. But anyway,
I haven't. Whenever me and my friends played zombies, we would just go straight back to Black Ops 1.
yep, you
We had
have
all the
to.
maps.
Yeah. So real quick though, I beat the game on hardened. Now, when you beat the game on veteran, you get extra trophies for every mission on veteran,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But the last one says complete the game on hardened or veteran, right?
Yeah.
So I got all the trophies for beating the missions regularly, but then it didn't give me the one for beating it on hardened. And I was like, are you kidding me? Now I have to go back and do this on veteran to get that trophy and then get all the veteran trophies? Like, dog, I just wanted to do it on hardened once. Okay, we're back. So, all right. We have been going on quite the tangent about Call of Duty and about Xbox 360 memories and stuff. That's awesome. So, okay, what that leads us into then, as I mentioned, like Black Ops 2 was on the Wii U, and that was like the most I ever played my Wii U, other than maybe like the Wind Waker remake. And, it was just kind of a dead console for me for so long, especially once I got the PS4, man, I was set. And then I even later on got an Xbox One to play Titanfall because that was made by the COD 4 guys and everything, So
Yeah,
I was really set with those two. And my Wii U sat around for a while. I think the other thing that I used it for was the virtual console release of Earthbound and Dracula X, because those are two very expensive SNES games that I paid, $10 for each digitally, and was like, that's fine for now. So RPG-wise, the only thing I really messed with on there was Xenoblade Chronicles X, which was okay, but, I got bored of it after a while. I did have the Tokyo Mirage Sessions game, but I played it like once, and I was like, I don't care about this. And then, so what I gotta know then... so you were kind of doing your own thing during that era, like when the Wii U was new.
Yeah.
But okay, so nowadays, right?
COD to JRPG pipeline, and then that was mainly JRPGs. That whole era.
Yeah, totally.
And just Zelda, and that was one of the reasons why I didn't get a Wii U is because there was no
Zelda.
New Zelda game.
Yeah.
There was no like it was Twilight Princess HD, which I had for the Wii already, and Wind Waker, which I had for the GameCube. So
well, yeah, and you can play Twilight Princess on every single generation ever because you can play it on GameCube, Wii U, and Switch. So it's like pick your poison. But anyway, so that's what I really want to get at too, right?
Well, you can't play it on Switch.
They didn't port it to Switch.
No, that's the reason why I got a Wii U recently.
See,
it's
that's
because
I
saw that the Nintendo Direct that was like in June or whatever, July maybe. They said something like it was going to be like or people were saying it was going to be like the last Nintendo Direct. I was like, they were speculating it was going to be the last Nintendo Direct that's strictly Switch,
right?
Just the Switch. Anything else would be like the next Nintendo Direct's going to have something about the Switch's success or whatever that's called, the Nintendo Swap.
I hope to God they call it that. Everybody says like Super Switch or Switch 2. Please call it the Swap.
But I saw that they were like I've been a huge proponent of the only three major games that they haven't ported from the Wii U to the Switch yet are Wind Waker HD, Twilight Princess HD, and Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Yeah,
and those are the three games I wanted for the freaking Wii U.
So,
and
do you have X?
When that was happening, I was like, hope is lost. I found a Wii U for cheap.
Yep.
Got it from like a play because it's from the same people on like Amazon. It's like an Amazon refurbished thing that I got a PS2 from, and the PS2 is in really good condition.
Good.
And the Wii U is also, it works really well. It's just a little scratched up around the edges because it's a black Wii U.
Dude, black Wii U's are just
more.
Black Wii U's are just. Oh man, were they hard to take care of? Like to make them look nice.
So I basically just got that, and I was like, all right, I'll get Wind Waker HD, Twilight Princess HD, Breath of the Wild, because screw it, why not? And then Xenoblade Chronicles X, and that's what I did. Because I feel like Xenoblade Chronicles X is really the one that I was like, I don't know if they're going to port this, because you need the gamepad for it. Like, unlike Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD, which has this sort of stuff that's on the gamepad already integrated into the display, like so you can play with Pro Controller. With the Xenoblade Chronicles X, don't you need to look at the gamepad for the map? Like, it doesn't even show up on the screen.
What I did, Xenoblade Chronicles X was actually the reason why I got a Pro Controller for the Wii U, because I was so sick of playing it on the gamepad. Because of that, I would play on my Pro Controller, get a little side table, put the gamepad on it with the map, and then just look over at it.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. And anything that you had to do on the gamepad, just break out the stylus and do that. But dude, Xenoblade Chronicles X was like the game that I thought was going to save the Wii U for me. Because I remember I got that game when it came out. And fun fact, the weekend that game came out, it came out like December 2015. That was the same weekend that I got into college. It was like, I got the game like that Friday. And then like that same day I got like the mail that I got accepted to college. Like it was that was like such a memorable weekend for me. And so that's what that game always reminds me of. We were talking about like seasons and stuff last time. Xenoblade X reminds me of that winter in senior year of high school for sure. And so I got that game, and I mean that game is like really good looking, like, or at least for the time.
Yeah.
The graphics on that game were sick, and I loved like just looking up at like the planets and stuff that are in that universe, and a lot of the music in that game's really cool too. I think. I mean, some of it's a little cheesy, but like you gotta love that it's kind of cheesy. You know?
Yeah. Xeno is known for its good music. I have a hot take, which is that a lot of Xenoblade fans would disagree with, where the only soundtrack, I haven't heard all the X's soundtracks, so I can't really speak on that, but the only one that I'm not the biggest fan of is Xenoblade Chronicles 3. There weren't very many tracks that are really memorable to me in that. I didn't think it was bad. It was just like, it was one of those things of like, a lot of like the area themes don't have, it went for the more, I don't want to say it was like Breath of the Wild's music, but it was more in that kind of same vein of like, I feel like of like not really having as memorable melodies that are at the front of like the music. Like I never call myself humming along to like the themes like I did in like Xenoblade 1 and 2.
I've only really heard 1 and X soundtracks. I've never really listened to 2 or 3.
Two's is the best. Two's is really, really good.
The first one's got some bangers on it, man.
Yeah, the first one's got some amazing songs too. Like the way I think of it is, I think Xenoblade 1 has the best battle themes.
Yeah.
But Xenoblade 2 has the best like area themes. Like when you get to More Ardain and they hit you with they hit you with the trumpets and you're like, what the?
Yeah. Dude,
it's very good.
Man, I first of all, I could have sworn that Twilight Princess was ported HD, but I knew about
Wind Waker. They did Skyward Sword.
That's right. I knew about Wind Waker. Now I've got a good Wind Waker HD story for you too. So I got that game the day it came out, and that was again. This was. You'll notice here every Wii U game that we talk about, I'm gonna preface it with, I thought this was the game that was going to save the Wii U for me, right? Like, every single one. I'm like, this is it. They're finally making games for this console.
You're like Scott the Woz if he had a realization that the Wii U wasn't going to make it.
I've watched Scott the Woz's stuff about it, and I'm just like, oh my god, I need to rip this man out of the screen and talk to him. Like, it's just like, so relatable when I hear him talk about the Wii U. I'm like, God, I just need to sit. I just want to go out and have a beer with Scott the Woz and talk about the Wii U because it's just all so relatable. And he is the same age as us.
Sorry, I just clapped laughing. You're gonna see this huge spike in audio when I say you.
The funny thing is, on Discord, I can't hear that, so it'll surprise me too.
Okay.
But Scott the Woz, we're the same age as him, and so he was suffering through the Wii U at the exact same point in his life that like I was, right? And I'm just like, oh god, this guy is so relatable with this. And that's actually how I like got really into his videos, was that because I hadn't watched him much before so very recently I've started watching Scott the Woz because his Wii U stuff, like his like big thing on the Wii U has been kind of more recent, and I'm just like, dude, I just, it makes you reflect on the era. And so my Wind Waker HD story is that I was so hyped for that game because Wind Waker was my favorite Zelda. It was my first Zelda. It's the first one I played. And I was so excited. I saw those graphics that they, were doing with it, that is all bright and everything had this like glow to it. And I was like, this is going to be so amazing. I can't wait.
Jacked up the bloom to 300.
Yeah, seriously. And like that they listened, like the Swift sail, like, oh my god, they fixed that, like they fixed the BS sailing mechanics, like the only thing that's like bad about the game, and like the Triforce quest, all that, right? So I was so excited for it. I pre-ordered it. There was a version pre-Amiibo. There was a version that came with a Ganondorf statue, right? And I also pre-ordered the collector's edition strategy guide for it. for it because it was like the first one of those that came in that like gold hardcover. It's like a light blue with like gold trim.
Yeah.
Fun fact: I still have that strategy guide. I did resell the Ganon figurine, but I kept it in the box, super nice the whole time. I remember it was a Friday after school, and I was not driving at the time. I had like just turned 16, and so I didn't have a car or anything, and you know, whatever. But I could walk to my local GameStop, and I went and I picked up my Wind Waker Collector's Edition with my Collector's Edition book and walked it on home, and that was just, again, it's so funny. It's like every game that came out for the Wii U is like a memorable weekend for me because it was such a rare occasion that when a decent game came out for the Wii U. I mean, dog, Wind Waker HD came out, I'm a sophomore in high school, and then I'm telling you about Xenoblade Chronicles X where I'm a senior in high school. And I don't know if there's much in between that was like significant. Like, seriously.
Twilight Princess HD.
I didn't even buy
That was it, probably.
I didn't even buy that when it came out. So,
To be fair, I do feel like I haven't played Wind Waker HD yet,
yeah.
but I feel like from what I know what they added to Wind Waker HD, they improved a lot more on Wind Waker HD than they did for Twilight Princess HD.
Yeah.
Because like the thing that really the only improvement, quote unquote, that they did was the post holes. They give you like a lantern to like tell you where a post hole is.
Yeah, yeah.
But by that point, it's pretty easy to tell because the things clank around a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I wish they added was a way to change night and day. That was the only problem I've ever really had with Twilight Princess.
And Wind Waker has
is
that.
You can't do that. Wind Waker, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, they all have it. Skyward Sword obviously doesn't, but
I've never played
doesn't have
Skyward.
anything.
I've never. There's a point in Zelda where I just fall off.
So Skyward Sword, I'm actually a big Skyward Sword defender.
Oh,
I
God.
actually quite like it. And
There's the
think
next episode.
Yeah, well, I think the HD version is the best version to play because they fixed a lot of the issues I had with it, especially like motion controls. Like, I know the motion controls are more interesting mechanically than the stick control that they added with the Switch One, but I had a lot of trouble with the motion control on the Wii, and that was always my biggest point of frustration.
I think
so
a
when
lot
the
of people.
instant I could turn that off,
Yeah.
I did, and I had so much more fun with the game.
I think a lot of people felt that way, dude.
Yeah. It's not that the idea was bad. It's that the execution was bad.
Because it's a
you get there and be
Wii game.
like, please reconnect the Wii controller. You're like, no, why?
Because it's on the Wii. They should have just waited for the Wii U with that. I feel like the Wii U did a lot better with that. Like, it could have handled it better, I felt, you know, because you play like the Nintendo Land stuff that's like Zelda themed on the Wii U, and it's like, this is like pretty good. Like, it follows it pretty well.
Yeah.
But again, I've never
What's
played
a shame,
Skyward
though, that
Sword,
I think,
but yeah.
oh, sorry. Yeah, I think what's a shame though is that I think a lot of people don't talk about it. It's come back around, but Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess have the best like dungeon designs in any Zelda game, in my opinion.
Yeah?
Like those two have just the best dungeon lineups.
You know what
Like
theme...
Skyward Sword has one where you go like you're on like a ship,
Uh-huh.
and you have to like change like the time period that the ship is on for sections.
Oh, that's cool.
It's like all dilapidated in the future, and you got like change to the past, like access certain things.
That's really cool.
So good.
You know what theme I love?
It's got some great ones. Yeah.
Just music, because I don't know, man. I think, you know, I played a little bit of Twilight Princess, and then, like I said, that's where the fall off happens. Is like I'm very familiar with Zelda 1, Zelda 2, a good amount of Link to the Past, but then I'm like super familiar with Ocarina, Majora's, and Wind Waker, and then like I played like maybe about a third of Twilight Princess, and then I just totally fall off after that. But I listen to the music all the time, and bro, the Temple of Time in Twilight Princess, that theme is so good. That theme is so freaking
That's also one of the best dungeons in that game.
Yeah. Is that the spinner? Is that the spinner dungeon?
Yes.
Yeah.
No. That's the spinner dungeon is Arbiter's Grounds.
Ah.
Temple of Time, you get the Dominion Rod. The statues.
Gotcha. Cool. I just that's like the only thing I know about Twilight Princess is that you go spinning around.
Yep. It's a fun item to use, but you don't use it too much.
Yeah, totally. So one of my friends who I've known forever, he was kind of on the opposite side of that with me, where he was very familiar with Twilight Princess, but he had never beaten Ocarina, Majora's, or Wind Waker. And so for like a couple of years, like when me and him would be home for like breaks in college, he would come over to my house and he played through all 3 of those games, and I just watched him because I was like, dude, you want to beat Majora's? Like, yeah, I'll watch you do that. I beat this game a while ago, you know. So, but I want to see you play it.
Yeah.
So, and eventually he did beat Ocarina, Majora's, and Wind Waker all at my house, all before I moved across the country. So, really cool stuff.
Yeah.
But he loved Twilight Princess, and he was like, I want to watch you play Twilight Princess. And then I did, and he was like, just give me the controller, because I was just like so terrible at it.
That's how I felt when I tried to get Devin to play Birth by Sleep.
And
he did it like over my apartment in college.
Yeah.
And I think you were there for the last time.
Oh,
his last play session.
You might be triggering some memories.
Boss, and every time I was like, Devin, block, please press the square button.
No, and it's like, this is why I'm so down to just watch, because it's like I don't want to be thrust into a new game, because when I am like playing a game for the first time, I'm just like, oh man, I'm like a real travesty at it. And I know like that's kind of a thing, like, oh, everybody's like not good when they start, you know, whatever, but I'm just like a real travesty, and I'm like, I don't feel like having the patience for this. I just want to watch you play it, man.
I feel like it's different from if I'm alone or if I'm with someone.
Yes.
Like, if I don't have controls and I'm with someone, then I'm like, why are we doing this, man?
No,
but
seriously,
if I'm alone, then I'll be like, all right, let me learn this because I'm booty cheeks right now.
Yeah, I gotta take some time to like
cheeks.
learn the game, and it's like I'm committing myself to learning that game. Whereas like that's what I'm getting at too with my next review. It's a game that I don't have to learn, because all right, the platformer that I want to do.
It's Brain Age Academy. I clapped again. Sorry. It's Brain Age Academy.
You're allowed to clap as much as you want, dude. We're both like Italian. So.
It's just I just love seeing it on Audacity because it's the whole
spike.
The track.
Yeah,
it's the whole.
So, no, the platformer that I want to do. This is not the next episode, but this is something that I want to do down the line. I really want to do Darkwing Duck for the NES, because it's like. I think I texted you. I got the like Disney collection on Steam. That's like, it's Darkwing Duck, both DuckTales, and both Chip and Dale games, and I think that's it. But everybody knows that like DuckTales is great. Everybody knows that like Chip and Dale is great, and then those sequels are like really rare games. So like, they're cool and all, but they're still talked about a good bit. I don't hear nearly as much about Darkwing Duck, but I know that a lot of people really like it, and they say it's really great. And that's like a game that I've never owned it because it's kind of rare, and you know, so getting it on that collection, I'm like, dude, this is so exciting. I can't wait to play this game. I should do a review on it. But then I'm like, oh my god, I really don't feel like learning this right now. So that's why the next one's going to be like a comfort food game for me. And as I said, you'll get to know the answer the moment that record button is off. Everybody else will have to wait, you know, about a month for the review to be done. But it's
Honey Pop.
Yep, you got me. But yeah, so that's cool though. So you actually have some good reasons to buy a Wii U, and I'm not gonna lie, B-Dog, while we're sitting here talking about Xenoblade Chronicles X, and me knowing that game did not get a Switch port, I'm like, dang man, I kind of want to get a Wii U again and finish that game, because I have some good memories playing that game. I got to a point where I think I needed to grind a lot, and I was like, whatever. But
I've heard that from other like Xenoblade fans that the story in X is not great.
No.
But the like gameplay, like exploration is top notch.
That's what I was. That's all I remember. I don't remember jack about the story in that game. I just remember being in some like futuristic city, and it's like, yeah, whatever, dude. I just want to look at the planets, like, you know.
Yeah. It's Xenoblade has always been really good at that sort of like exploration thing. Because like, I think at least again 3. I am not a big fan of 3. The DLC for 3 is amazing. I love Future Redeemed, but the base game, not the biggest fan of.
Right.
And one of the things that I love in like fantasy style things is when they do really like out there kind of like world designs and stuff.
Right.
Like they do like wacky stuff. So like I love Xenoblade 1's world where it's like you're on the back of this giant Titan.
Yeah.
And that's you climbing up this thing, and it's like all like, oh, you're in the field, you're on its knee. And you can like see its like head looking up and stuff. That's really cool. And like you can see like the opposing Titan in the distance.
Yeah.
And all that. And then Xenoblade 2, it's like you're on the backs of these smaller Titans that are like walking or swimming through this cloud sea, and that was really cool. And then in Xenoblade 3, there's like, it's a floating island,
Right.
and it's just and the void is everywhere, and it's like
Yeah.
it's not that interesting, but
So
whatever.
so you
Yeah.
got your Wii U a couple months ago? You said, and give me the list of games again: Xenoblade X, the two Zeldas, and what?
Breath of the Wild, because
Oh.
I'm probably gonna go for a thing where I'm trying to get all the Zelda games like that are physically available.
Yeah.
I think the only ones I'm missing are just like the original like games from Legend of Zelda all the way up to Link's Awakening. I just don't have those original versions.
I've got the first one complete in
then-
box.
Yeah, I still need it. Like I don't have an NES, a Super Nintendo, or an N64.
Right.
Or I'm sorry. So I'm also missing Ocarina of Time, which was Mass, like the original version of those.
Yeah.
But then I would also need I think I just need the. I think there's Game Boy Advance versions of Zelda 1 and 2.
There are
And
the
then-
classic NES versions. Yeah.
And then I just need the specifically the Ocarina of Time Master Quest version of the game.
Yeah, which is a bit
I
of
think
a
those
bear.
the only ones.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, here's one that you're gonna want to just spare yourself from because it's literally like an $800 game. Not the CDI ones, but there is a dual release Metroid Prime and Wind Waker dual release package, and I think it's seriously like $1,000.
Yeah, I'll probably skip out on that one.
Yeah, and it's
I
like, yeah,
think
cool, I have both those games
if I got it
separately.
for the console, I already have Wind Waker for the GameCube, so I think.
And,
like,
yeah. I mean,
yeah,
the first Metroid Prime
I
is
also
still
have I have the
cheap.
collector's edition.
Yeah.
I have the collector's edition of whatever it's called, the Zelda collector's edition, which is like
Oh, yeah.
Zelda 1 and 2, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and then also a Wind Waker demo for some reason.
Yes.
I think it came out after Wind Waker.
Yeah. Well, you know.
It is what it is.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Do you have a 1.0 Ocarina? Like a
No, I don't have any.
Islamic.
I don't have any. Yeah, I don't have any of the. So I don't have any N64 games.
Oh,
either. So
dang.
I'm missing from Zelda, like the original Zelda 1 and 2, the original Links of the Past,
Right.
the original Link's Awakening. I have DX, but I don't have the Game Boy one.
Right.
And then Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. I'm just missing those.
Sheesh, man! I had all this. I had the original Link's Awakening. I wish I could have sold you all this stuff because I had a.
Yeah.
I had a 1.0 Ocarina. Like I had the Fire Temple theme as a kid. Like I remember it. And I remember the Crescent Moon and stuff. All that stuff that they took out. You know.
And Ganondorf's blood.
Yep. And Ganondorf's
It
blood.
turned into snot.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Spits out green, and you're like, ew.
It's worse. There's green. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, something wrong. Like,
Oh.
if it's blood, it's like
Jeez.
normal. It's like, but yeah, I had a 1.0 Ocarina. I had the collector's version of Majora's with the lenticular label, you know, the scratchy scratch label, and I still have my original copy of Wind Waker. I used to have the GameCube Twilight Princess. I sold that. And I recently got, within this past year, I finally got a complete inbox of the first Zelda with the map. I have the map and everything. And on this
That's
channel,
nice.
I did a full breakdown of the map and the manual and everything. I showed it all off. But I used to have a CIB copy of Zelda 2, the gray cart version, like the classic NES series, and I sold that. And I just have a gold card loose now for Zelda 2 because I don't care about that game. So,
That game is probably the hardest game I've ever beaten.
I've never beaten it, but the hardest game I've ever beaten is frickin' Ninja Gaiden 1, and I do have a short of the ending scene for that on this channel. So I know anybody who's seen my Mega Man 8 video is going to be like, there's no way that this moron could beat Ninja Gaiden. But I have freaking beaten Ninja Gaiden, and I've also beaten Castlevania, believe it or not, and I do have proof on this channel of Ninja Gaiden being beaten. So, yes.
Well, Zelda 2 is next. You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, no, I actually have a spreadsheet. I don't think I've divulged this on the channel at all, or to you even. I have a spreadsheet of every NES game that I've beaten, and I take pictures of the end screens and I put them in a collage next to the spreadsheet. Like I have like the table with the date beaten if it was my first time beating the game, because I was like doing them like more recently. There's a few I beat as a kid. Like I beat Super Mario 1 as a kid, obviously, and I haven't beaten that again recently. It started with Zelda. I beat Zelda again in one sitting, and I was like, dude, I have like most of this game still memorized. And I took a picture of it, and so it's like that was not my first time beating the first Zelda, but here's the picture anyway.
Yeah.
And then I did have an old picture from when I beat Castlevania. That I did it after I want to maybe have this in a video, but I'll tell the story anyway. I was home from a college break, and I don't know what came over me. I just got motivated to play some Castlevania 1, and when I got past the hallway with the knights that the AVGN like freaks out about, where he's like, you can't hit the knight because you're dodging the Medusas, but you can't dodge the Medusas because you're dodging the axe, but you can't dodge the axe because the game's driving you freaking crazy. It's so awesome, right? When I got past that part, I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna beat this game, because I'm like, this is the thing that drove the AVGN insane, and and I did, and I something like I said, it was just like an afternoon, it just came over me, and I beat it, and so I took a picture of that for sure, and I still have that. But yeah, I've just been on a quest to like beat NES games, and it's slowed down mainly because I had a lot of my stuff packed up when we were moving. But man, gotta fire up that old Battletoads Double Dragon and get that one done.
Yeah. I also have like that's more like a notes thing on my phone of like all the platinum trophies I've gotten. Like,
well, you're nuts with that, dog. You got like 40 platinums. I see you on PlayStation Network, and I'm like, look at this guy showing me up. I got my
Technically, I have 50 because my PS3 account's not linked, and I have 11 on the PS3.
I see. That's why that's why I can't do that stuff, man. Because it's like I have so many trophies on my PS3, and thankfully they are all linked to my PS4 account because I've had the same PlayStation Network account forever. Xbox can't say the same. My Xbox accounts were all like lost after a while, and that's why I had to rebuy those COD Zombies maps. But PlayStation, I've had the same account forever, and I got so many freaking trophies on it. But like, not platinums, dog. The only platinums that I have, Infamous Second Son, and then they did a DLC like expansion of it called Infamous First Light. But in Europe, that game got a physical release.
Yeah.
So I imported it from Europe, and then I platinumed that. But that was a lot more just like... It was way shorter. I can't even believe that the game even had a platinum,
Yeah, I played First Light. That one's a really short game.
Yeah.
And Infamous Second Son is... I would say, it's going to make it sound
it's
like
an
I'm like
easy platinum, I know.
It is an easy platinum.
I
know. After I went through and I platinumed 2 Yakuza games, which are like probably the hardest platinums that I've gotten.
And you platinumed Persona 5. You haven't?
Yeah, the original. Royal is super easy to platinum. That's probably one of the easiest platinums I've ever had. I did that one by accident.
Not good.
That's how easy that platinum is.
I can do that.
I beat the game and I was like, wait, I got the platinum trophy?
I have Royal. I just got to play through it. You talked about that in the first episode.
That's like for the original one, you have to do like all the social links.
Yeah.
In a single run, you have to complete the compendium. And Royal is just like maybe max out a social stat.
Wait a minute.
It's
Okay.
I think like the hardest thing.
Royal does not have a trophy for doing every social link.
Nope.
What?
Even though, and here's the thing, what's funny about that, it doesn't have a trophy for it, but I still did it.
Of course, because you're
by
you.
accident.
Yeah, you're you.
I did it by accident because I had played Persona 5 twice, like back to back when it first came out.
Yeah.
And I still like remembered, even though it was years later, I still remember like some of the techniques to like get like all that stuff. And then they give you a bunch of extra time because they have the whole third semester. But the thing is,
right.
Even when they gave you that time, I still beat it. I still maxed out all the social links within the normal time that the game allotted you, like of the original game. Right. So like I beat it before I beat like the original final boss.
Jeez.
And then I got maxed out all the social links before that, and then I got to the third semester, I had nothing to do.
Right.
And I was like, well,
time to hit up those batting cages.
Yeah, I guess I'll meditate at the temple.
Yeah, seriously. Yo, so to kind of end it off, because we are at an hour and 10 minutes already, though I feel like I've just begun speaking with you because, we just have so much fun here. But would you say, to wrap it all up and to give the video a good title, would you say, based on your purchase of a Wii U and literally, 4 games, 3 of which are Zeldas, and whatever, would you say that it is worth today, like, getting into Wii U collecting or just buying a Wii U in general?
Oh, collecting Wii U, no. Buying a Wii U in general, if you want to play those games, sure. Like, one of the big reasons why I got Xenoblade Chronicles X was because I wanted to get all the Xeno series. Like I got
Yeah.
Xenosaga. And that
Oh,
was,
that's
like,
right.
The big. That was like the big like
Big man.
block for that.
That's a big man game.
Xenosaga 3 is
Yeah.
like $300.
I know. That's a
And I
big
was
boy
like,
game. I
when
know.
when I got that, I was like, okay. Like by this point, I've committed.
Absolutely.
I have to get Xenogears and Xenoblade Chronicles. Actually, the only two I was missing at the time.
Yeah.
And
Xenogears,
what I
man.
think is funny is Xenoblade. I paid less for the Wii U and Xenoblade Chronicles X than I paid for Xenosaga 3.
Oh, no kidding. I mean, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I know how that goes. When it comes to, like, the series that you want to get everything for me, it's Mega Man. And it's like, cool, I'll be dead. You know? Like,
Yeah, I mean, for I did that for Trails. I'm like,
Right.
I made like a. I think I showed you the picture of like
Your shelf.
my entire Trails collection.
Yeah.
Well, not just a shelf, but I have like an entire because I can't put everything on the shelf. It's so much.
That's
of
good.
like all the collector's editions, all
Yeah.
the like the Japanese copies, like the PSP and Vita versions.
Right.
That's the series that I like collecting for.
All right.
I'm not getting everything because I know like there's so many like different like
Variants.
Japanese versions of like
Yeah.
the original versions. Then you have like the clouded leopard versions, and then you have like the super price versions. And I'm like, I'm not getting into all that. I'm just like, if it came out for a system and I don't have a physical copy for that system, I'll get it, like I did for the PSP, which
Right.
is only in Japan.
Right.
For like Zero and Azure,
Mm.
and I'm like, I got those, but I'm not gonna get like the PS4 versions again, even because I have them.
I get that.
in English. I'm not gonna get them.
So here's my
Japanese.
thing real quick too. You always call the series Trails. I always call
Yep.
the series Legend of Heroes.
Yes,
So what the hell
So-
is it?
the Legend of Heroes it was a spin-off series of Dragon Slayer, which is like one of the first JRPGs ever, like predating Dragon Quest,
Right.
predating Final Fantasy.
right.
It was like one of the first action RPG series, at least JRPGs. That had a game called in its like main series called Dragon Slayer: The Legend of Heroes.
Oh
And then
yeah.
it spun off from that, and then from there, it like kind of has different sub-series in the Legend of Heroes because like Dragon Slayer is not a thing anymore.
Right.
They don't make any more Dragon Slayer games, but the Legend of Heroes is split off into right now it's 3 different sub-series. So the first 2 games are still they're the Dragon Slayer sub-series because they were still Dragon Slayer games.
Yeah.
And then the next 3 were called the Gagharv trilogy, or however you pronounce that,
Uh-huh.
which is like you can find them on the PSP. They're really expensive. I have them. It's like Song of the Ocean, Prophecy of the Moonlight Witch,
Yeah.
Tear of Vermilion.
Oh yeah.
And those games are kind of connected. I haven't really played them, so I don't know how much. Then
Right.
there's Trails, which is a specific sub-series, it's the current one going on
Yes.
for the Legend of Heroes, which is all the games are telling one big interconnected story set in
Right.
the same universe.
Right.
It's split into multiple arcs, so like each arc takes place in a different nation on this continent of Zemuria. Each one interconnects, so you have characters from previous arcs showing up in later ones, talking to each other, interacting in meaningful ways.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
Love it. But yeah, so it's Trails is specifically those games, or Kaseki in Japanese. That's what
Gotcha.
people say. Trails or Kaseki. And yeah, and then Legend of Heroes is like the whole.
The whole
Franchise.
shebang. Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought so. I haven't like been reading up on the JRPG world, or like the PS2 JRPGs and on. Like that used to be something I was
Yeah.
like really into, but I haven't been like I'm a little rusty on my knowledge of that kind of stuff, which is like your prime era. So I'm like, I'll ask Brian. So real quick, all right, final question for you, right, about the Wii U, because you know I just love poking at this. I bought a Wii U in 2024.
I'm like it's a me and Scott the Wash with the last holdouts for the Wii U.
Well, so I'm serious, dog. This is making me want to go get one, and I'm like, I know that like collecting for it's like kind of easy because of the Switch and everything.
yeah, it's like I bought one for like $100.
Yeah, I seriously, and it is obviously a little bit nostalgic, and by that I mean there are 3 days that I was nostalgic for the Wii U. The day I got it, the day Wind Waker HD came out, and the day Xenoblade X came out, and now today. But
4.
I have like 3 good memories with the Wii U, like literally. But my final question to you, because this is important, are you ever gonna buy the Wonderful 101?
I don't know. I don't know if that game's good or not.
I'll tell you this. The reason why I asked you is because I was at a game store with Devin, and he's also like a Wii U defender, and he had one like in the
Oh, I know.
in the era as well.
He berated me when I got it.
Well, because he doesn't think that
He
you
was
should.
probably like, "What are you doing?
doesn't-
I'm in this. I don't want you to be in this."
It's literally that, because he's like, he has his, and it's like always like a joke when we hang out. I'm like, dude, you still have a Wii U? What the hell are you doing? And we were at a game store, and he's like, well, I think I have everything that I want for the Wii U. And I'm like, so nothing. And he's like, yeah, just except for the Wonderful 101. And he found a copy of it in the game store we were at, and he bought it. And he's like, I think I can call my Wii U collection complete. And I'm like, what do you have, 3 games for it? You know, just dogging on him for having it the whole time. But so I'm like, all right, if this man bought this game now and is like talking to me about how he wants to add it to his collection, like, I gotta ask you on the podcast. So yeah, maybe I don't know if that got a Switch port or not. I doubt it. I think Nintendo likes to put that in the same corner that they put the Virtual Boy in.
I feel like there was another version of Wonderful 101 released somewhere.
Are you looking it up?
Yeah, let me just look at the Wikipedia article real quick. It's got a PS4 and
That's right.
Switch.
That's right.
And Windows.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, remastered.
Yeah, they put it on
and
PS4.
the Amazon Luna.
Everybody's favorite console. Should I buy a Wii U or an Amazon Luna? I don't know. How about
I got that instead of the Wii
How
U.
about stick my head in a dumpster and breathe in really deeply? Anyways, let's wrap it up with that. Just, some good discussion about the Wonderful 101. So, guys, a Wii U in 2024, if you have a very specific need for it, if you want to play Xenoblade X, which I'm kind of craving right now, I mean, shoot, go on the old eBays and buy a Wii U. If not, just keep playing your Switch. All the games are on there anyway. So, well, thank you if you've tuned in and watched this whole episode. It's a nice long one for you, and I'll try and get this posted sometime soon. But editing takes a while, and I'll talk to you about gameplay and stuff to send me over. But I've got my fair share of stuff, probably just some Mega Man crap, whatever. But anyways, I'm gonna hit stop here right now, so thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.